I guess we could segue a little bit more into communications, since that's where what we've been talking about. So how do you interact with senior management, especially as you first start off in your career, and when you progress to a supervisor? What are sort of the challenges and tips that you have for that?
I mean, you definitely want to keep open lines of communication. Sometimes with some of the lower staff, they love sending emails. So you have to, like, even if they just want to talk to one of the partners, they think, oh, they're really busy. We have an open door policy, knock on the partner's door. He will definitely want to answer and talk to you. Like, they want to send emails to the clients, like, just go ask. Like, you need to have that open forms of communication. I think it really helps in your career. So communication is definitely key. Networking, creating our personal brands and networking for our firms, I think is very crucial and critical. I mean, I mentioned it before, I got my first job through networking. I attended an event the year after for the society at a career fair, and people came up to me and said, oh, how are you working at that firm? And I said, I met someone at a networking event. It's that easy. So I think communication is definitely very wise to get into and keep up.
I agree with the younger staff and in emailing. When you first start out, you do feel a little nervous, and you think you can spell things out in an email better than you can speak it sometimes. But if you're going to interact with older generations, or even if it's someone just a few years older than you as a supervisor, you want to be able to speak to them face to face. And like you said with your colleagues in London, it's different when you're interacting with someone and you can see their reactions.
But don't tear up the way I did.
Perhaps not, but it's different when you can see someone's interactions, and sometimes in email, the tone comes across as abrupt or maybe even too friendly at some point, so you want to learn that communication skill.
You've got to pick the subject line, which is always the hardest
Exactly, yeah. So that's been one of the challenges with working with some younger staff, or I even remember myself when I first started, is getting comfortable speaking with people in all different settings: clients, colleagues, bosses, the other staff in the office. So that's definitely a challenge.
You won't learn how to communicate until you get out there and actually speak to the CFO, speak to the controller, speak to the partners and senior managers on your team.
I would say every one of you out there across this country, the people who are listening to the webcast and all of us, you were hired for a job for a reason. And the reason is you're qualified to do the job. And that should give you the confidence to go to talk to anybody. You shouldn't. I've always disliked the concept, well, I have to go talk to my manager. I can't do that, or my partner, or the CFO. No, you're intelligent, and if you're not, then you shouldn't be doing the job. You have the ability, you should have the confidence to project the right kind of attitude, represent yourself well, and don't be shy. Everyone who's hired for a job, or even if you were brought in for an interview, there's a reason you're brought in for the interview. They like something about your resume, they like something about a conversation you may have had on the phone. And you have a lot to offer and a lot to add. And be confident and go and have those conversations with professionalism and with confidence. That's really, I think it's important. I'm the controller who receives the auditors in my office, and I give them a hard time sometimes, basically all the time. Having formally done the job, I like to bust their chops and make it difficult, just kind of for sport sometimes. But it's all in good fun, and we respect each other, and we know each party has a job to do. And I think the younger staff on the audit teams that I deal with, those who are able to come into my office or to my boss's office or my boss's boss's office with confidence, that's really impressive. And having seen that, you'll respect their questions more. And when they make requests, you'll be more likely to respond to them because you know they're someone who means business, knows what they're about, and is looking for the right things rather than wasting their time and yours. So I really think presenting yourself well is key.